That's right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Fish Report Live. We're coming live to you from the Fish Report studio here in Russia, Ohio. My name's Craig Fissinger.
And I'm Ken Francis.
And Ken, I tell you what, if you're a baseball fan, you're going to love tonight's show, because not only do we have one of the best coaches in the state of Ohio, we've also got one of the best pitchers in the state of Ohio tonight, don't we?
Not only Ohio, Craig, we got one of the best pitchers in the nation, high school
right.
pitchers in the nation with us tonight. And, I'm really looking forward to talking to Coach Bill Sturwold of Fort Loramie. He's just been extremely highly successful during his tenure over at Fort Loramie. And, and also to high school phenom from Vandalia-Butler, Taylor Cherry, young high school senior pitcher, already has some huge credentials ahead of him, and just really looking forward to talking to him.
Yeah, you mentioned it last week when we were talking about Adam Niemeyer and Alex Smith and some of those pitchers from the area. And so what do? We went ahead and got Taylor on the show. So
yes, we did. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right, well, speaking of baseball, let's get to our weekly trivia question. And you got a baseball-related trivia question tonight, don't you?
Yes, we do. And tonight's trivia question, if you know the answer, text us, tweet us, social stream us, however you want. First winner gets a Fish Report Live t-shirt. Tonight's question is this: how many times has a Shelby County League baseball team won the Ohio High School Athletic Association state championship? How many different times has a Shelby County League baseball team won the Ohio State Championship in baseball?
All right, well, we'll find out if anyone knows the answer to that. I'm sure someone out there does. We actually put the question on our screen, so you can see it on your computer screen right now. Like Ken said, social stream us, text us, get us the answer. We'll find out who the winner is at the end of the show tonight. So, all right, Ken, let's get to some news notes. Anything from the world of track to talk about?
Well, that track's about halfway through now. You're starting to get into your, seeing where these kids are falling at. People are starting to have to think about what events they're going to do come postseason time. And a big race this weekend will be held at Milton, the Bulldog Invitational. It's basically a collection of many of the most powerful Division III teams in our region. You're going to have Minster, Botkins, Fort Loramie, Russia, West Liberty, Salem, and amongst many others there. And it's just going to be a really tough competition in all events, and a lot of these kids will find out where they're standing at. So
okay, well, we'll look forward to seeing the results of that this weekend, see how that goes. That's all the track news we've got tonight. Let's get some scores from tonight's games. Let's talk softball first. We had a good one in Russia tonight in softball, didn't we?
We did. Russia took on Houston, two of the perennial powerhouse teams in Shelby County League softball, and the Raiders came away with a 3-2 victory in a very well played fast-pitch softball game held at Russia. And just a big win for Russia as they continue to roll along. They've got one league loss, as well as what Fort Loramie does, and I believe Anna also has one league loss.
Yeah, so I was up there at that game tonight, and it was a good one. Russia was actually up 3-1 in the top of the seventh. Houston scored a run. They were actually threatening. They had a girl on second base, and in typical Caitlin Heron fashion, Caitlin finished the game with a strikeout and ended that threat. So Caitlin picks up another win and a few more strikeouts too. So any other scores to report tonight?
We had a max score, Minster over Fort Recovery, 12-0. In one other game that was actually a suspended game from several weeks ago. But Fort Loramie is in the process of beating Jackson Center. It's 15-0. The game has been suspended in the fourth inning. So in that Minster game, Craig, I got a question for you. How do you think Hannah Floyd did?
Well, I tell you what, I was reading the paper here tonight. Hannah Floyd's batting .729 right now. She was 35 for 48 recently here, so
that's not bad.
That's not bad. Even if she went 3 for 4, she probably didn't move her average at all. So.
No. So I'm not sure who Hannah Floyd is, Craig, but we might have to get her on the show.
Yeah, we should. I know she's going to, I want to say Wright State maybe.
I think so.
And yeah, we should get her on the show. We'll work on that for our next show. So. All right, let's switch from softball to the hardball, and Houston also came to Russia tonight to play some baseball, didn't they?
Yeah, the Raiders came away with a 12-0 victory, a 5-inning run roll. Treg Francis was dynamic on the mound for the Raiders tonight, pitching a shutout. And Russia moves to 5-1 on the league in the league play, and with a run rule over Houston. So things are really tied up at the top for the Shelby County League standings.
Yeah, Anna's also 5-1 right now. Anna had a non-league game against New Knoxville, so that's not going to figure into the league standings. Loramie was at 4-1. We're going to find out if they got a win tonight too. So why don't we get Coach Sturwold on the phone? Let's find out if they picked up a win and stayed in a tie for first place. And Ken, Coach Sturwold, like we said at the beginning of the show, one of the best coaches in the state of Ohio. All this guy's done the last 5 years is go to the state tournament 3 times. He's got 2 wins in 2007 and 2010, I believe. And then in 2008, they went to the state semis. But 2 championships or 3 appearances in the last 5 years, not too bad, is it?
He's been extremely successful, and really looking forward to talking to Coach Sturwold.
Yeah, we are too. And I think we got him on the phone right now. Coach Sturwold, thanks for joining us tonight on Fish Report Live.
How you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Real good.
Good. Well, let's get the first things first. We know you had a game at Jackson Center tonight. The Russia Raiders, they won, so they stayed in a tie for first place. We want to find out if the Redskins won and stayed in a tie for first as well.
Yeah, we beat Jackson Center tonight, 17-7. We didn't play great, but it was a W.
Who was on the mound for you tonight?
We started sophomore Darren Gephardt, and he did a good job. We jumped out early, scored 11 runs in the first inning, and then we relaxed and didn't play very good defense behind him, and made the game a little more interesting. It went the full 7 innings.
Well, if I remember correctly, Darren also picked up a win against Fairlawn here a week or so ago, didn't he?
Yeah, Darren's been getting well, this league is top heavy naturally with Russia, Loramie, and Anna. The other teams we try to throw off a little bit and let our 3 and 4 hopefully beat those teams, and they do a nice job. They throw strikes and give us a chance to win. Okay.
Well, hey, listen, I know you also had a big win the other night, not necessarily a league win, but you also played Lehman and beat their ace, Alex Smith. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. That was a big win for us because I seen Smith throw at the showcase last fall down at Centerville, and he's one of the top pitchers in the area. So that was definitely a nice win for us. The kids put together some good at-bats against him.
What, in your estimation, Smith throws mid-80s, low 80s? What's he throwing right now? Speed?
I think he's probably 84, something like that. His breaking ball wasn't real sharp. It was kind of not the slider that he can throw, and but we battled, and the kids squared up a couple fastballs, and we made him pitch.
I want to ask you a question. Speaking of guys that throw hard, Coach, last week Ken and I were talking about Adam Niemeyer from Minster who throws hard. We mentioned Alex Smith from Lehman that throws hard. Now you guys hit Smith well. We've got a guest coming up here a little bit later, Taylor Cherry from Vandalia-Butler. That guy, he throws in the 90s. But Troy had some success against him the other night, hitting him hard. In your opinion, Coach, what makes a successful pitcher? It's obviously more than just throwing hard, isn't it?
Oh, most definitely. If you can battle them long enough, you don't even have to hit them sometimes. If you can foul them off and get your pitch count up, that high 80s, 90, that slows down to 84, 85 if you get to the second time in the lineup. My old Legion coach, Jim Harmon, that was our philosophy all the time whenever we faced someone that threw that hard the first time. Unless you were a 3-4 hitter, you took until you got 2 or 3 pitches in the bat if you could, depending on the count. And the second time through, everybody had seen him and got him dropped down to where you could put it in play on him. So that's kind of been our philosophy at times against these guys that throw real hard.
Hey, Coach, this is Ken. Around here, probably in Loramie too, you call it small ball, you want to call it billy ball, call it whatever you want, Coach, but you've got to be the master at winning the one-run, low-scoring ball games. I constantly see in the paper, Loramie wins 3-2, 4-3, 2-1. But playing into that fact, how has the new BB Core bat affected your style of coaching? Because it obviously has lowered the run production in these games.
Well, I think it's changed everybody's strategy because butting someone to second base being as shallow as the outfielders are playing, and if the wind's blowing in at all, a base hit to the outfield does not score you from second base if the kid comes up clean. The kid on second has to have some foot speed, and the base hit has to be over down the first or third baseline over the head of the corner infielders or in the gap somewhere, because you're not necessarily, you're seeing your sacrifice flies aren't deep enough to score your average base runner if the kids have any kind of arm at all.
Year after year, Coach, I'd like to first of all compliment you on the fact that fundamentally sound, your teams appear to be as good as anybody I ever seen. So I'd like to congratulate you on that first of all. Knowing that, how does your pregame preparation and your infield practice before the game give you a distinct advantage over that other team as they're watching you from their dugout?
Well, I don't know if it does or not. I mean, sometimes there's times we have a real great round infield and we kick it around, and there's been times we played lesser opponents and they missed everything in the infield, but then we hit some hard balls and everything comes clean. So infield can give you a read on if your kids are ready to play. If their ball's bouncing off their gloves and stuff, you know they're not focused on the throws, but all the infields are so baked out from the hot weather and not much rain this spring that you're starting to see some hops, and so you got to kind of read. You have to almost play like you're a Dominican infielder down in Dominican. As soon as you see a hop, you better be coming getting it, because that next hop's not going to be true. And it's the way things are baked out. The fields are hard, and your kids that are fundamentally sound that play their hop right or charge it and take that out are going to be your most successful teams.
Well, hey, listen, Coach, one more question here before we let you go. Last week, Ken and I, we had Coach Wiss on from Minster, and as we all know, they won the D4 state championship last year. We asked him what it took to get there, and we know it takes some talent, but we asked him what else it took, and I think he mentioned a little luck, and I think the term he used was it's almost like the stars are aligning for you. You gotta have that feeling. Now you've been there 3 times in the last 5 years, so you're as good to ask as anyone. What does it take for your Redskins, or what does it take for any team to get to Columbus?
Well, you just gotta play solid baseball. You don't really have to play great baseball, because half the time your opponent will beat yourself if you play steady enough, long enough. And that's kind of what happened with our Loramie game just the other night. For 5 innings, both teams played straight up, solid baseball, and then we got a runner on, put some bunts down, and finally got a break, a close call. Went our way. Line drive down left field line that was just right on the line, and the umpire called fair. He could have yelled foul. It looked fair to me, and it's just there's 2 close calls that go against you, and there's a couple bad bounces. It depends which way they go, and you just got to make sure you're playing well enough that you take that out of play.
So it's not so how hard you hit him. Maybe it's where you hit him sometimes.
Yeah, that's the name of the game.
That's right.
The best team doesn't always win in this sport, and there's no time clock. There's no clock to run out. So you have to play and you have to finish it.
Yeah, we've said that before too. You can hit line drives right at them all night and be playing a team that you might beat 9 out of 10 times, but they drop a couple over the first baseman's head, and pretty soon you get beat 3-2.
Yeah, it can happen, and it probably will happen this spring with these bats. They're going, instead of the score being 8-1, you're going to be a 4-1 and a couple walks and an error, and you can get beat. And getting back to your earlier question about the pitching, Drake Francis from Rushi probably threw as well as, he didn't throw as hard as some of them other kids, but he probably had our kids off balance as well as anybody we've seen this year, and that was a true pitching performance. Him and Yossi the other night, that kind of turned the clock back to Mike Shields versus Delmer Raithman in 1976. I know that's before your time a little bit, but it was 2 kids that were pitching. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, that was. You've had a couple of those, Treg and Seth, and then Seth going up against Smith the other night.
And Niemeyer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Gildy's been in some great pitching duels. And he thrives on it. We love sending him to the mound.
Hey, listen, Coach, we're gonna let you go. We appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk to us tonight. Good luck the rest of the season, and we look forward to talking to you again sometime soon.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
That was the head coach of the Fort Loramie Redskins, Bill Sturwold. Ken, let me ask you this. He's been there, like I said, 3 times in the last 5 years. I didn't want to ask him this, but do you think he can get there again?
Well, I definitely think he can get there again. You know, you look at Fort Loramie's baseball team, and they've got a very good pitcher in Seth Giosi. They've got a decent 2 and 3 pitcher along with Albers and Gephardt. So they've got a few pitchers that they can throw at you. They play great, fundamentally sound defense, and it's just going to take luck. I mean, there's tough teams in this regional that they're going to have to get through. I mean, you got Russia, you got Lehman, you've got Minster, just to name a few, with just local teams that are very, very good baseball teams. But can Loramie get back there? Sure, they can. They've got the talent, and they've got the coaching, and they've got the experience.
Yeah, well, I know one thing. I'm a big Russia Raider fan, and I sure don't want to face the Redskins.
That's for sure. So, that's for sure.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this half of the show. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to have, again, one of the best pitchers in the state of Ohio, one of the best pitchers in the country, Taylor Cherry, coming up. We'll be right back.
Raised by a single mother in the heart of the Midwest. She grew up, didn't have too much trouble, cause her mom worked hard for everything they had. She never knew her father, only knew that he was gone. She would wake to her mother crying and an empty bottle laying on the floor. Yeah. Teen with open face, she was gonna leave this town, but she fell in love, had a son, now she's paying rent on an old farmhouse. Got a job in a factory downtown, pushing out on wheels. Now it's porch cars and blue bandanas and weekend streams for you and me. All the mornings they are dancing on this side of town. She likes to smoke, takes a toll, it's just another day of a fairy tale. Oh, it's just black coffee and cigarettes. She's got a broken car and a broken smile from a past she can't forget. All the stuff is killing her, she don't know how to live. Now every day is just the same damn thing. Black coffee and cigarettes.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Well, Ken, before the break, we were talking to one of the best coaches in the state of Ohio. Now we're going to be talking to one of the best pitchers in the state of Ohio, aren't we?
Yes, we are. On the phone, we're going to have Taylor Cherry from Vandalia-Butler. Taylor's a 6'9" right-hander that really can bring it off the mound. Craig, he's thrown in the mid-90s. He's already been offered a full ride to the University of North Carolina, a Division I baseball powerhouse, and is a projected first round, hopefully for him, Major League Baseball pick in the upcoming near future, in which he'll have a tough decision to make down the road. So we've got Taylor on the phone tonight.
Yeah, we're excited to have him on the phone. Taylor, thanks for joining us tonight on Fish Report Live.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad to be here.
All right, I understand you just got back from Cincinnati. What was going on in the Queen City tonight?
Not too much. Go down there, work out with the pitching coach I have, and just try to keep myself sharp. My pitch is doing good.
Is that something you do on a regular basis, or?
As much time as I can get down there with my schedule, I try to do it.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, on our show, we talk a lot about Shelby County League and MAC baseball, but we don't talk a whole lot about the GWalk. Now, we understand that Vandalia-Butler just got back from a trip to Myrtle Beach. Is that a trip that you do every year? And why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
No, actually, it's the first year we've done it. Coach Hughes really went out on this one, and we did a bunch of fundraising in the fall and all through the winter and spring, but we got down there, had a great time, some good bonding time with the teammates, played some great teams. It's really fun playing teams from different states and getting to know other people, so overall it's a great experience. How
many games did you get in down there in Myrtle Beach?
We played 5 games down there.
You got 5 games, you said? I think we just lost him there. Ken, why don't you get him back on the phone? But yeah, I know Vandalia-Butler was down there in Myrtle Beach on that trip. I'm not sure how many games Taylor actually pitched. I think he started out that first game, picked up a win in that game. But he did say that was the first trip that Vandalia-Butler's done down there. I imagine a lot of that perhaps has to do with him. And let's see if we can get him back on the phone. Taylor, we got you back.
Yeah, we lost you there. Taylor, this is Ken Francis. Apologize for that technical difficulty there. I've got a question for you here. Now that, with your high school baseball team, you've got a healthy catcher back, and you and catcher Lance Straley coming off an injury from last year make you one of the top battery combinations in the state. How important is it to you to have your classmate, friend, and good catcher back with you?
Oh, it's definitely great. Lance is a huge part of the team, and he's part of it. He's got a great bat and cannon for the arm. We've also been kind of rotating in junior Peter Jorgen and catching, and he's doing a great job. He's a real hard worker.
Mm-hmm. As a teenage athlete, Taylor, all of us have a special professional athlete that we admire most. Who does Taylor Cherry idolize in Major League Baseball?
Right now, I'd have to say Josh Johnson for the Miami Marlins. He's a big right-handed pitcher. I just see, hopefully, myself come to that one day.
Hey, Taylor, this is Craig again. Now we've read a lot about your blazing fastball. Let me ask you, how fast are you throwing right now? I want to hear it right from you. What's your top speed that you can reach?
Right now, I'm sitting anywhere from 91 to 93 comfortably, and once in a while, I'm bumping up a little bit over that.
Okay. And we understand you're going to North Carolina after graduation to play ball down there. Do you know what your role is going to be down there yet, or will you be a starter? Or are you a closer? Do you know yet how you're going to fit into that team down there?
When I got my scholarship, they wanted me as a starter. We'll see how my freshman year goes, but I hope to be starting sometime on the weekends and prove myself down there.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, one more last question before we let you go. We got a lot of young kids that watch this show, and I know there are a lot of kids that are out there trying to be the best pitchers they can be. Now, for a kid that can't necessarily throw 90 or is going to throw 90 one day, what are some things that they can work on to be the best pitchers they can be?
Definitely going out as much as you can. Get your thrown in, your long toss, your short bullpens, your long bullpens, and your towel drills, especially on days off, are huge things. Just get your mechanics right and making sure everything's going smoothly is probably the biggest thing that can help anyone.
Okay, great. All right, well, hey, listen, we want to thank you for joining us on the show tonight. We're going to pay attention to Vandalia-Butler, see how you guys do the rest of the season. I think last year you got to the regional finals, is that right?
Yes, we did.
And I lost to, Lakota East, I believe, if I remember right?
Yes. Yes.
Who was actually the eventual state champion, too. So good luck to you, Taylor, this year, not only in the rest of your high school career, but your college career and your professional days down the road.
Yep, thank you for having me, guys.
All right.
Much appreciate you taking your time out on the show. Thank you.
All right, that was Vandalia-Butler's Taylor Cherry. And Ken, last week, we talked about him briefly. Like you said, we touched on him. You said that you thought maybe he would forego college and go pro. After talking to him tonight, do you still think that?
I don't know, Craig. He he's fortunate that he's going to have a very tough decision ahead of him. He's got to make a decision that any high school kid would love to have to make. Do I go to the University of North Carolina and pitch for a Division I baseball program that is top-notch, or do I potentially sign a multi-million-dollar contract in probably professional baseball? I mean, you know, you're talking about a decision here. Yeah, it's a tough decision, but it's a decision that any kid would love to have to make.
Sure, and there's a lot to be said for going to college too, because you know when you do go pro, you know not only do you have to be physically ready, you got to be mentally ready. I mean that's a whole different lifestyle, and you know let's face it, some kids might be ready for that, and some kids might not. So a year or two in college isn't necessarily a bad thing either.
I totally agree. And to put this into perspective, Craig, if Taylor is selected in the first round this year of the Major League Baseball draft, if he is selected in round 1, he will be the first Ohio high school pitcher to be selected in the first round since 2003. 2003, Craig. So that just shows you it's been 9 years since anybody's been selected in the first round out of Ohio high school. That person happened to be somebody we talked about last week, Defiance High School graduate Chad Billingsley, now an all-star for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
That's right.
So,
well, if anybody can do it, I'm sure this guy can. I mean, he's you said 6'9". I think he's just a big kid, and he throws hard. I think they said when he's out there on the mound, it looks like he's just throwing pitch and catch. When actually that ball's coming in pretty quick.
You know, not only is he throwing 93 miles an hour, Craig, but it being 6'9", you know, most kids when they deliver the baseball, they're actually throwing it from about 55 feet. Taylor's probably throwing it from about 50, 52, 53 feet because of his long wingspan and his long legs. So, you know, he can bring it, and you know, it'll be interesting to watch him the rest of the way.
Well, I'm glad Rushi is not Division I.
That's right. But we'll have to say I'm going to follow them in their tournament trail, and if they get it to a game that I can actually go to and watch, I'm going to be calling you, and we're going to go watch him play.
Yeah, that'd be something to see. I might tag along with you on that one. So, all right, well, that's going to do it for our baseball talk tonight. Well, not quite yet. We want to get back to our trivia question. Why don't you tell the viewers again what that question was, and let's find out if we got a winner.
Okay, Craig. Tonight's trivia question was, how many times has a Shelby County League team won the state championship in boys baseball? How many times has the Shelby County League team won the Ohio State Championship in boys baseball?
Can I've got some guesses here.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, I know the Raiders back in '71,
right,
which was the first time.
Right.
And we just talked to Coach Sturwold, so we know we mentioned that earlier. That was a little hint for the viewers out there.
Right.
So we got 2007, 2010 Loramie. That's 3. I can't think of any besides that.
Well, you and the rest of our listening audience, because I don't think we got any correct answers tonight. Is that correct?
I didn't get any.
I don't have any, and I don't see any on the social stream tab. So apparently the question was a little tougher than we thought. But the correct answer, Craig, is 5. 5 times the Shelby County League team has won state in baseball. It started in 1971 with the Rushi Raiders. The Anna Rockets followed it in 1972 and 1980. And then the Fort Loramie Redskins under Coach Bill Sturwold won it in 07 and 2010.
Okay.
So 5 times.
All right. Well, I did not know that. Learned something else tonight.
That's right.
So, all right. Well, listen, that's going to do it for us tonight. Sorry we didn't have a winner tonight. I guess we'll just we'll keep trying to give away our T-shirts. Before we go, though, we want to say thanks to all of our sponsors out there. You saw them at the commercial break. Thanks again to Mark Cantwell for giving us the music at the commercial. I also want to say special thanks to Coach Sturwold for joining us tonight and Coach Taylor Cherry. Thanks to this guy, our producer, Ross Fissinger. Always does a great job. And just want to let you know, Ken and I are going to be taking a little break next week. We're not going to be on next week, but hope to be back the week after that. And for Ken Francis and Ross Fissinger, I'm Craig Fissinger saying good night, everyone.